you've ever felt like this life is sometimes a dream or an illusion, it's because it is, or at least to some degree. So the illusion that's always there, the underlying truth, the deeper truth to this reality that's always there, is that this life is an illusion. It is like a dream. What is that dream? Why would we be in an illusion? Well, first of all, it's self-created. We created it. Second of all, what happens is that there's a God, there's a source, there's an all, there's an everything that exists. But when you are that all, when you are that everything, there's nothing outside of you. So it's boring, it's isolating, there's nothing to do, there's no experience. Envision being and having consciousness and having being and having light and having energy, but there's no experience. You are all of it. There's nothing outside of you. So what do you have to do in order to have an experience? You have to incarnate. You have to break off pieces of yourself and incarnate in different bodies in order to have a vast variety of experiences, to have an illusion of an experience, basically, which is kind of like a dream, right? It's an illusion that you're having an experience, but you're not really having the experience, right? Even though you kind of are, you're dreaming, you kind of are, right? Can we really tell the difference between the dream and our real lives a lot of times? No. This is the same. This reality and this existence is the same. So people who are described as having psychosis, or people who are described as having mental issues, or even just day-to-day people, right? When you sometimes feel like, why do I feel like I'm in a dream sometimes? Or why do I feel like I'm in a fantasy? Or like that, like some of this isn't real, or it's almost like dreamlike. It's because it is. The underlying truth is that you are that God, you are that source, you are that totality, that oneness within, that spirit, that soul, that piece of source that has incarnated into this body, into this vessel that is temporary. And you have this mind in order to be able to basically hallucinate and have this illusion of separation, have this illusion of this limited experience. This experience is very limited on purpose, so we can have an experience, right? That's what really defines our lives. That's what defines an experience. It's not what's here, it's what's limited, actually. That more makes up what an experience is, what the reality is. It's what's cut out. It's what's limited, right? You have way more that's cut out and limited that you never experienced than you do. And so that's what happens with us. The limited amount of light that we see, the limited amount of sounds that we hear, the limited amount of emotions that we feel, the perceptions that we have are so limited when this reality is so much bigger. And science already proves this. Science already understands this, right? We've already understood this for a while now. So when you feel like it's a dream or it's an illusion, oh, there's Yeti. What are you doing, boy? What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing, buddy? So when you feel like this is a dream or an illusion sometimes, it's because it is, guys, and it's okay. It's fine, right? And that's part of the truth, right? And someone could go, why would you seek that out? Or why would you want to figure that out? First of all, I didn't try to figure it out. It wasn't like I was fucking seeking that, right? Like I was just living my life and following the path I was following, wanting to learn things and looking within and all this stuff and going down what many would call a spiritual path. And these are the insights that came to me and the realizations. It was just clear, like intuitive, like you just know it. You all of a sudden something snaps and you just understand it. You just see it and you're like, oh my God, that's the truth. That's the reality. So first of all, I didn't seek it. And second of all, it doesn't really change your day-to-day life all that much. You're still a human being, right? You're still incarnated with this limited existence. So I would say the biggest thing is that when you realize something like that, you understand life, you understand death, you don't really take any of this all that seriously as much anymore. Are there still things that you care about? Are there still changes that you want to be made? Yeah, because a lot of this shit is stupid. There's a lot of suffering and death and killing that you realize how insane all of that is too. Like you can already realize that to a degree, but once you kind of pass that insight and that knowledge and that knowing of what this reality really is, you realize how crazy all that shit is and how unnecessary. And it's really madness, honestly. At the end of the day, all the war, all the suffering, all the killing, all this greed, all this materialism, all this shit, capitalism, extreme capitalism, all this stuff. It's just crazy. So there's that, but there's also, it doesn't really change your day-to-day life, right? Like you can understand all of that, but you still have to live this limited experience, right? You still have to just be a human being at the end of the day. You still have emotions. You still have flaws. You still have, things that make you angry, right? You still have things that are unreasonable within you. You still have your shadows, right? You still have your dark parts of yourself. All this stuff, like none of that stuff just magically goes away because of that. So, but I would say that when you pass that point, your seriousness of things drops away, and like fear. Like you don't really have fears of much things because you're like, oh, this is what this is? Okay. Like you don't really treat it all that seriously. So someone could come to me and be like, well, what if you don't have money in the future? And I'm just like, oh, I'll be fine. I'll be okay. Oh, what if like you'd never get famous? What if you never make it? What if you don't have your partner, your dream life? I'm just like, whatever. And they're like, how? How can you like be okay? How can you just be okay with what is? Like whatever's right in front of you. And I'm like, because I understand what this is. It's a dream. It's an illusion. Like I'm God, source that incarnated into this body for a temporary existence. So am I going to get all worked up and get all worried about some future thing that I may or may not have, or will it work out, or and then cause myself stress and pain and suffering, and like fucking like a victim in this current present moment, when I could just be and just look around and be like, right now, I'm alive. Holy shit, this is a miracle. Like, I'm God source incarnated. Holy shit. Like, when you actually sit with that and you actually understand that and realize that, you realize how much of a miracle it is that you are alive. A miracle that any of this exists the way that it exists. That any of this happened the way that it happened. They're able to just see flowers on the ground. They're able to just eat an apple. They're able to just go see a dog run around. You're like, oh my God, look how cute that dog is, right? And it brings you happiness. Like, all these emotions, all these ups, all these downs, the positive, the negative, the dark, the light, all of it, right? Is that God and source wanted an experience, and you are part of that. You are part of this like grand illusion that is being created, this illusion of separation that you have to believe in to some degree. You will believe in it to some degree because you're a human being, and you have to have some sort of ego in order to have be an individual and feel like, hey, I'm me and I have my own thoughts, my own feelings, my own life, and you like live your life, right? You have to have that to some degree. But then there's that deeper truth that's always there, that's not true. The deeper truth, it's like both are true at the same time. Yeah, you're an individual, you're with ego, but that deeper truth is that that's not real. That's an illusion. You're actually just one. You're actually just a being. That's a part of this larger beingness. That there's this illusion of separation because you have this body and you're like, oh, this is me. And that out there is that. That's something else. Like, but that's illusion. That's the dream, right? That's the dream that you're in. And when you die, you'll wake up to that. Once again, when you die, you'll join back up with the all, with the totality, with source. And you'll remember fully, completely who you are. You shed your ego. That's why people have all these crazy stories and all these insights, and they talk about God and oneness and source and coming back from the dead, like near-death experiences. That's why everyone talks like this when they have those near-death experiences. That's why people, when you hear people talk about people who work with death a lot, you'll see how those people change. A lot of those people change the way they think. They change the way they speak. They see things that they don't normally see. And they talk in a way that they don't normally talk. It's because their ego is literally going away. Their body is going away. Their ego is going away. They're going back into source, right? They're going back into that oneness, right? That's why they say they see the light and they go towards the light, because that's what we all are. We're all just that light, that source, that oneness, that energy. That's what we are. So you blend back in with that whenever you die, transform. I like to say transform. Die is not really the appropriate word in my opinion. So yeah, guys, so that's it. So if you feel like sometimes it's a dream, it's an illusion, it is. So don't fucking take it so seriously, okay? Like, if you're alive and you have see a little avocado on the tree and you get to pick it and get to eat it and be like, oh my God, this fucking fruit, like, just taste it in your mouth and be present with that fully and be like, wow, this is delicious. Just embody that. Just be present with that and just enjoy that, right? Like, this is what you incarnated to do, to be a human being for this lifetime in this temporary vessel until you go back to source and then you decide to incarnate into whatever comes next. I don't know if we really have a choice in that or not. I don't have that insight or not. I don't know, but I know that we incarnate. I know that we come into these bodies, or we've likely had past lives and stuff. That's why a lot of people talk about they can remember things that aren't part of their life, or they dream things that don't even make sense. That was maybe someone else's life or experience. That would make sense, right? Because time is an illusion too. That's part of the illusion too. Time, space, it's all an illusion, guys. That creates separation, but there is no separation. It's all just one. It's all just, envision just a big pot of soup, just constantly churning. And you think, oh, I'm this like potato. I'm not part of the soup. I'm this potato. And then that potato falls down to the bottom of the soup and disintegrates and becomes part of the soup again. And then a little green bean rises or whatever, right? That's how I like to think of it, this universal soup. That's basically what's going on. So anyway, I know I kind of ranted and went off on a few tangents, but this stuff is just really interesting and exciting to me. And it's just understanding this reality. It's fucking crazy. How can me, a human being, understand that? How the hell can I come to those insights? That's fucking insane. That's crazy. Like, I incarnated here to forget this shit, and yet I remembered it. How could I remember it? Because I'm God's source. No shit. When I meditate, or when I go into these deep states, and my ego and my body dissolves, no wonder I can connect to this cosmic wisdom and this cosmic knowledge, because I'm God's source. So God's source is everything, as I described. So everybody has access to that. Everybody has access to this universal cosmic knowledge. So anyway, feel like a dream or illusion? It's because it is, guys. So don't take it so seriously. Just enjoy. Enjoy your limited human life until you go back to source. Peace.